Wow, this is Terrence Gangster Williams, aka OG Giggity. I want to speak to you all today about Glenn Miss, a Calio living legend. Big dog, big honcho. But the reason that I'm speaking on this is because there are a lot of steppers, kingpins that are still on the street that need to know how the government play and need to know that the rules that apply in the state are not the same rules that apply in the feds. Okay, and also the reason why I'm going to speak on this situation, and I'm using this because it's something that you all need to be aware of and see how can you all help out. Just recently, I don't know how true it is, I heard that Glenn Miss had brain surgery. Now, when I first got incarcerated, Glenn Miss wrote me a letter, and he was like, yo, I'm reaching out to you because if I had a son that got locked up and they had a charge like you have, I would want somebody to reach out to him and tell him how it's go, this. So he explained, because I was charged with the same charge he was charged with, the 848, which is a continuing criminal enterprise. It's a kingpin status. I had to be the youngest one or one of the youngest one to be charged with that. And I didn't have the amount of drugs that he had, or a lot of the kingpins that are charged with this charge have. But anyway, he was charged back, he was found guilty back in 1993, along with several co-defendants. I'm not going to get into who was co-defendants and all this and that about. He was given a life sentence for a continuing criminal enterprise, and he was given, I think 5 years or 5 or 10, something like that, for a gun. But the gun was overturned. Okay, he later filed in 2001, I want to say 2001. He filed for a compassionate release. The same motion I've been talking about for the longest. It's called it's called compelling and something reasonable circumstance. Whereas you letting the courts know, I've been locked up this long time. Here are my certificates. I haven't had a write-up in a long time, and I'm asking the courts to either reduce my sentence or release me from prison. So it's a compassionate release motion. So a lot of guys file those motions to get out of prison as of lately. So he filed this motion, and let me show you how the government did him. The government responded in his motion, right? The government response was, no amount of rehabilitation can erase that he ran a continuing criminal enterprise where he put 1,000 kilos of cocaine in the city of New Orleans. Now, mind you, the government responded to his motion. On the same page, the same paragraph, the government turned around and say, the government is not disputing Miss commendable rehabilitation. So they downplay him on one on the top and then come back and down and say, well, we're not going to dispute, he did some good work. So it's like this man is not a violent, then it's the crazy part about it. He don't have no violence. He's never arrested for violence. He's never convicted for violence. Let me say that. He don't have a violent conviction at all. But what they did, they took and said, you know what? Yeah, you don't have a violent conviction. However, the guys that are on your case done violent acts. So now you got to say to yourself, hold up. I'm not responsible for them. They're their own man. Whatever they do, that's what they do. That's not how the Fed works. Whenever you have a conspiracy, a group, or the continuing criminal enterprise, like 5 or more workers, they're going to hold the head honcho, the head of the case, responsible for everything. And this is what they doing him, because there's nothing else they could do to him for his sentence. So in their mind, they're like, you know what? Because you had this person connected to you, you're going to be held accountable for their wrongdoing. And that's what they're doing. They're going off hearsay. I don't want to get into the situation of murders and all this type of stuff here, because I'm not here for that. What I'm here for is to show that You have a man that's been locked up since 1992, maybe, I think. I know he was found guilty in 93. It's just about 30 years. And no violence, but yet they still don't want to release this man because they talk about something that happened 30 years ago, just putting out drugs on the streets. Now, yes, drugs messed up our community, did a lot of stuff, of course. This is why I want you all to pay attention to what's going on with this man. The man don't have no violence. One of his co-defendants got released from Obama. She got the clemency. You know, they were equal co-defendants, but they won't allow him to be released because of the people he was connected to. And to be honest with you, I don't think he must talk to a lot of those guys when they were on the street. You know, but because, you know, he's the big dog, he's the head honcho. However, they are holding him accountable for what they did. Then the prosecutor went as far as to say this. They dug up an old newspaper clipping from what the judge at their sentencing back in 93 or 94, whenever they were sentenced, the judge said this. I quote, "The arrogance of your gang's conduct is best demonstrated by one of your members having the gall," this is the word the judge used, the gall, "to advertise his trade by brazenly driving a bulletproof truck embezzled with the message homicide, villain in black." Yeah. Somebody out the Callio Project had a bulletproof truck with homicide on that thing. But this man didn't have that. It's just the people that he was affiliated with had this. And the prosecutor are taking everything with the people that was associated with his case and saying, because he was a boss, Yana, no, we're going to hold him accountable for this. This man nowhere around for this stuff. But it goes to show that it's easy to get into trouble, but it's hard to get out. So I want you all to pay attention to what's going on, because you see how they're doing him, and you may be in that same situation. So stop the drugs, say no to violence, and let's put those guns down. Let's help the at-risk youth out. They need us. They really need us. And we have to lead by example. We have to start reaching out and talking to the at-risk youth. And we also have to start getting with the lawmakers to show them that, hey, you got people that's been incarcerated for 30 years that I think the man had one write-up. I think it's one write-up. Because he's a very well-respected inmate. He don't get into no kind of trouble, no he say, she say. That man don't get into none of that. And it's time for that man to come out. He have done enough time. So we need to find out how we can put a petition together or what we can do to ask the courts to allow him back into society. That's all I have for right now. Much love. Love you all. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Wah!